In the sun-drenched suburbs of Pasadena, California, a musical revolution was quietly brewing. This is the story of Van Halen, a band that didn't just play rock music, they detonated it. It all started in the early 1970s with two brothers, Eddie and Alex Van Halen, a guitar virtuoso in the making, and Alex, a pow-hose on the drums, formed a band called Mammoth. They soon recruited the ultimate showman, David Lee Roth, whose flamboyant stage antics were the perfect match for Eddie's electrifying guitar work. With the steady bass lines and soaring harmonies of Michael Anthony, the lineup was complete. They christened themselves Van Halen, playing the sweaty clubs of Southern California. Their raw energy was undeniable. After catching the ear of KISS's Gene Simmons and signing with Warner Bros., they were ready to unleash their sound on the world. In 1978, their debut album, simply titled Van Halen, hit the airwaves like a shockwave. It wasn't just an album, it was a declaration. At its heart was Eruption, a 2-minute instrumental that single-handedly redefined guitar playing. With its lightning-fast tapping and dive-bombing whammy bar, Eddie Van Halen instantly became a guitar god. The album was packed with anthems that defined the generation, the swagger of Running with the Devil, the groove of Jamie's Cream, and their blistering cover of You Really Got Me. The David Lee Roth era was a relentless whirlwind of sold-out tours and platinum albums. They were rock royalty, releasing a new record almost every year. Van Halen 2 gave us the feel-good hit Dance the Night Away. Fair Warning showed a darker, more complex side with the iconic riff of Unchained. This was a band at the peak of its powers, a perfect storm of musical genius and larger-than-life personality. Then came 1984. The album, also titled 1984, was their commercial masterpiece. Eddie embraced synthesizers, and the result was pure magic. Jump, with its unforgettable synth riff, became their first and only #1 single. Tracks like The High Octane, Panama, and the boogie-fueled Hot for Teacher cemented the album's legendary status. But behind the scenes, the party was coming to an end. Creative differences and personal tensions between Eddie and David Lee Roth reached a boiling point. In 1985, to the shock of the music world, Diamond Dave left the band, closing the first iconic chapter of Van Halen. How could Van Halen possibly go on without their charismatic frontman? The answer came in the form of Sammy Hagar, known as the Red Rocker. Hagar brought a powerful, melodic voice and a new, more collaborative energy to the band. Skeptics were silenced in 1986 with the release of 5150. The album soared to #1, proving that Van Halen was far from over. The so-called Van Hagar era had begun, marked by a more polished arena rock sound. The hits were massive. Why Can't This Be Love became an instant classic, followed by the soaring power ballad Dreams and Love Walks In. This new lineup was a commercial juggernaut, releasing 4 consecutive #1 multi-platinum albums. They sold out stadiums worldwide with powerhouse tracks like Pound Cake, Run Around, and the incredibly influential Right Now, whose video captured the zeitgeist of the early 90s. The Hagar era was a decade of incredible success, proving the band's musical core was strong enough to thrive with a new voice. But like before, internal conflicts began to surface, and in 1996, Sammy Hagar and Van Halen parted ways. The years that followed were a period of turbulence and uncertainty. The band briefly reunited with David Lee Roth for a greatest hits compilation, but a full-fledged reunion crumbled almost as quickly as it started. They then recruited Gary Cherone from the band Extreme. While a talented vocalist, the resulting album, Van Halen 3 failed to connect with fans, and Cherone's tenure was short. For years, the band lay dormant, leaving fans to wonder if they would ever see the Rock Titans on stage again. Then, in 2007, the unexpected happened. Van Halen announced a full reunion tour with David Lee Roth back on the mic. There was one major change. Eddie's son, the incredibly talented Wolfgang Van Halen, took over bass duties, turning the band into a true family affair. The tour was a massive success, a triumphant return that celebrated the band's classic legacy. This reunion wasn't just for the stage. In 2012, they released A Different Kind of Truth, their first studio album with Roth in 28 years. The record was a fantastic return to form, with tracks like Tattoo proving the old magic was still there. For several years, this final lineup toured the world, a fitting full-circle journey for one of rock's most legendary bands. The final chapter is one of profound sadness. On October 6, 2020, the heart and soul of the band, Eddie Van Halen, passed away after a long battle with cancer. The world lost a true innovator, a man whose sound and technique changed the course of music forever. With his passing, the remaining members confirmed what everyone knew in their hearts. Without Eddie, there is no Van Halen. The legacy of Van Halen is monumental. It's a story of two distinct powerhouse eras, both anchored by the unparalleled genius of Eddie Van Halen and the thunderous rhythm of his brother, Alex. From the wild raw party of the Roth years to the melodic arena rock of the Hagar decade, they created a timeless catalog of music that continues to inspire. Their influence is immeasurable, their sound is immortal, and their place in the pantheon of rock gods is forever secure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, look back at a legendary band. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.